So here's a little known fact about yours truly. As well as being a scuba instructor, I'm also quite an experienced river guide, and I've led trips on both rafts and on kayaks down some of the scariest whitewater on the planet. And yet, I don't have a single piece of plastic to prove that I'm qualified to do so. So today's video I'm asking this question: why do you need a certificate to dive when you don't need a piece of plastic to prove that you can participate in other dangerous sports such as horse riding or skiing or rugby or karate or whitewater rafting or kayaking? Ladies and gentlemen, what's going on? Welcome to Divers Ready here in 2020. A very happy new year to everyone. My name's James and I'm a professional scuba instructor and digital content creator, and we make videos with one single goal in mind, and that's to help make you a better scuba diver. So if you haven't done so already, make your next dive on that subscribe button, click the little bell icon, and that way you'll never miss any other awesome content. And please, if you're a regular watcher of this channel, let me know in the comments below, what do you think about our banging new introduction? We just made that fresh yesterday. I figured new year, new start, new look, new feel, same kind of color patterns and fonts that you've been used to from me, but I'm really interested to hear your thoughts on that. Is it too much? I don't know. This week, I'm giving you my 5 reasons why you need to be certified to participate in scuba diving activities, with a particular focus on why you don't need to be certified to participate in other dangerous sports. Now, to be clear here, I'm talking about certification. I'm talking about formalized training that results in a certificate at the end of it, such as this one. Not talking about training. Obviously you need training for all dangerous sports. You need to be taught how to ski, you need to be taught how to ride a horse, you need to be taught how to scuba dive. But why is it that scuba diving is one of the only sports out there where you need to actually show a plastic card with an agency's training logo on it to be able to participate as a member of that sport? But before we jump into the 5 reasons, I want to explain to the regular viewers of the channel this new setup, a new camera angle that you're seeing and have seen in the last couple of videos. So if you're just passing by, welcome, and you're not interested in that little bit, skip forward to here in the video, and that's where we're going to start the actual 5 reasons. So let me just walk you through the new setup. I'm going to just switch to a different camera angle here. But essentially now we've got the Lumix GH5 from Panasonic, which has become the A camera there. And before, what we were doing was filming on a tripod just over here, and it was kind of angled this way, and you got some of the desktop in, and some of the desk, and the mysterious red box, and the shelves behind me. So what we did was angle these shelves out a little ways and create a little bit more space here. And now I've got a permanent setup on my desk with the mic arm up and overhead, and coming down to these friction arms, which are actually bolted onto the table. So I've got an A light here, another setup over here with 2 friction arms, key light, or fill light, sorry, and the main camera permanently attached. Also, these little colored lights back here that I use to fill in my background shelves here used to be battery powered, so I was always on like kind of a time limit to get the shots I needed as quick as possible before the batteries ran out, and now they're actually hardwired in. So I made that little change there. What I used to have to do before is position the lights, set the tripod up, get the camera set up, bring the sound in on a separate tripod, and it took a lot of setup, and I was spending more of my time setting up the videos than I was actually recording and editing them. So we decided to make some changes. This, of course, is still semi-permanent because we are moving to the new studio in April of this year. So I didn't want to do too much, and a lot of this stuff, well, all of this stuff will be coming with us. But I just wanted to give you kind of an explanation of how this works. As I said, very much a temporary setup right now because we are moving to the new studio in a few months, and I just wanted something that was going to be fast and intermediary until we get into the new space where we'll be able to make all the films we want to make for you guys. Right, 5 reasons why you need to be certified to participate in scuba diving. Here we go. Reason number 1, it's dangerous. Is it though? Is scuba diving dangerous? Well, yes, it is dangerous, obviously, and it's also one of those sports where the dangers aren't obvious. If you go horse riding, it's obvious that if you fall off a horse, that's going to cause you injury and harm. But a lot of the dangers of scuba diving are silent or hidden, such as decompression sickness, the bends, carbon monoxide poisoning, any of the things that can go wrong might not be visually obvious. So it is dangerous, but actually according to Dan, the global fatality rate for scuba diving is 3.5 per 100,000 participants. That means for every 100,000 people who scuba dive on a regular basis, 3.5 people, I don't know how half a person dies, but whatever, 3.5 people per 100,000 die. To put that into perspective, that's about the same as jogging. So if you compare that to 4.9 per 100,000 participants for horse riding and 5.5 fatalities per 100,000 participants for whitewater rafting and kayaking, scuba diving looks a lot safer than both of those two sports. So the comparatively low fatality rate for scuba diving over other dangerous sports suggests that having standardized training works. But why do you need certification? You can be trained to ride a horse or trained to paddle a kayak, but you don't get a certificate at the end of it. And yet, if I'd never ridden a horse in my life before, I could rock up at a stables and tell them I want to go horse riding and pay them some money and sign a liability release, and here's my horse and off we go horse riding. Let's put a pause on that one right now and come back to it. But the second reason that some people think you need to be certified in order to participate in scuba diving is liability. Okay, let's talk about liability. Well, when you go to a dive center, you need to sign their liability release form and you need to show them your certification card. Let's put the certification card over there and deal with the liability release, otherwise known as a waiver of rights. What you're basically doing is acknowledging that you're aware that the sport you're about to participate in is dangerous and that if anything happens to you, it's entirely your fault, not the operation's fault, and no one can sue them because you are waiving your rights. Same as if I go to a ski lodge and I want to rent skis and buy a lift pass, I need to sign a waiver, and then with no experience or training or anything, I can take those skis up a ski lift to a black diamond run and hurl myself down a mountain. And there's pretty much nothing to stop me there. Well, except the ski patrol, but really, what are the chances of that? And should the inevitable happen, I fall down and break my neck, my family can't sue the ski resort because A, I'd signed a waiver and there is no ski certification to show. And then also from a negating liability point of view, you can walk into a dive center with no scuba certification, purchase head to toe a full set of kit and fill your tanks and then wander into the ocean and never to be seen from again without the involvement of an actual dive center. You shouldn't be able to, I don't recommend it, but you can. So okay, liability doesn't have anything to do with why you need a certification card because the waiver takes care of that. So let's look at reason number 3 why you need to get certified to scuba dive, and that is it guarantees quality of training. So that means that if I go and get a course from a recognized international training agency, those standards have been agreed upon by a wider governing body and accredited, and it means I am capable and qualified to perform certain skills to a certain standard. Does it though? And I'm only asking this because I'm out there weekend after weekend on boats and I see certified scuba divers who are complete shit shows underwater. I mean, no buoyancy control, overweighted, kicking up the coral. I mean, I'm talking fish opening for the spin doctors at the Iowa State Fair shit show. And those guys and girls are certified. Now, on the flip side of that coin, I know people who have never stepped foot in a commercial dive centre and did learn to dive on a private boat and were taught by their father or their uncle and so on, and have made hundreds of dives without ever going to a dive centre. And they're better divers than 80% of the people I see out there holding an open water certification. So let's compare scuba diving to skydiving for a moment. Just another technical sport that is very dangerous and that you need to be certified to participate in. In both the US and the UK, the USPA, the United States Parachute Association, and the BPA, the British Parachute Association, issue standards to which training must be accomplished. And they are the sole issuer of certifications for skydiving in their respective countries. There is no competition. There is no PADI versus SSI versus NAUI versus SDI versus blah, blah, blah. They are the only ones that can issue certifications that are recognized to provide quality of training in skydiving. In both countries, they follow the same criteria for certification, which is based on your growing experience. So when you first get certified as a solo skydiver, you're entry level, which is A. And then when you get to 50 skydives, you can go to level B, and then another 200 and you're C, and so on and so forth. Up to D, where you've done 1,000 jumps, and you can apply for your instructor rating. So let me just think about that for a moment. There is a technical sport out there where in order to be an instructor and be able to teach that sport, you need to have 1,000 repetitions of experience. 1,000. So I agree that there's a need that there should be formalized training, but I don't agree that that automatically guarantees a quality of training and an output of quality divers at the other end, just based on what I see. Reason number 4 that you need to be certified to scuba dive is there are lots of different types of scuba diving, and you need to be sure that the person standing in front of you that's about to partake in this particular type of diving has done it before and is qualified to do it. This much I pretty much agree with. I mean, if you take the open water course, that sets your limits to 60 feet, 18 meters, and open water conditions similar to you were trained in. That does not qualify you to go inside a shipwreck. It does not qualify you to go inside a cave. If you want to do those specialist activities, you need additional certification, and you do need some kind of proof to show that you've done that particular part of training. Open water course doesn't cover all the different types of training that you do. So there is some truth there that you need to be able to show skills and training if you want to participate in some of those sub-disciplines of scuba diving. But again, why do you need a certification card? Why can't your instructor just fill out your logbook? Isn't that good enough? Well, no, not really, because a logbook can be faked. So that brings us to reason number 5 why you need to be certified to scuba dive. Because the corporations who insist you need to be certified are as old as the sport itself and have a stranglehold on how scuba diving is to be taught. Sorry, I was still thinking of scuba divers needing 50, 80, 100, 200 repetitions between each training level. I apologise. Scuba training agencies are for-profit publishing houses. That's all they are. They sell books, plastic cards, and online courses. That's what they do to make their money. But because they've been around and are as old as the sport itself, NAUI 1959, PADI 1966, SSI 1970, they get to put their stamp on the sport and insist that certification has to be achieved. And then over time, they've sculpted the legal landscape to make sure that it is unacceptable for you, the diver, to rock up to a dive resort without being able to show one of their cards. Now, unfortunately, that's the system that we're stuck with. The World Recreational Scuba Training Council, link in the description of this video below, is responsible to set the minimum standards for all courses that the major training agencies have to agree to. And they're comprised of, yes, you guessed it, the scuba diver training agencies. I would love it if scuba diving could follow skydiving's lead. Skydiving is a dangerous, technical sport that has a singular, non-profit governing organisation operated by its members. It has rigid training performance requirements. It's super experienced instructors who have to have over 1,000 repetitions of the sport before they can become an instructor, and they have nationally accredited training programs. So the United States Parachute Association does not own any parachute manufacturers, does not own any shares in any airfields, does not own any flight schools, and their instructor renewal fees for 2020. So on that devastating note, that's how we're going to end this week. First one of 2020. Ladies and gentlemen, if you haven't done so already, don't forget to hit that subscribe button, click the little bell icon, really means the world to me. Until next time, my name's James. This was your Divers Ready Mouthpiece Monday for this week. Dive safe, dive often.